If there was ever a time of year that is perfect for miracles, then it would have to be Christmas. It's a time when there is a feeling of magic in the air and there's a sense that anything is possible. Christmas miracles are not only for the realm of film and books, they happen in real life too. Welcome to Intrigued Mind, where today we bring you 5 Christmas miracles that could soften even the most Scrooge-like of hearts. The year was 1917, and U.S. serviceman Archie Kleckman was missing in action, presumed dead, as World War I raged across Europe. In a little town called Parker, South Dakota, the Kleckman family prepared themselves for a joyless Christmas without their beloved son and brother. Mother Kleckman had decreed that there would be no celebrations that year. In this little town, mail was delivered via train. It was a long-running joke in the community that the postman would know a family's news before they did, because he was in the habit of reading all of the postcards that passed through his hands. It was customary for the Christmas Eve mail to be shelved until the day after Christmas, for the post office at Parker was closed on the 25th. The Kleckman clan received their Christmas miracle the night before Christmas in the form of a telephone call. The postman had read all of the postcards that had come into the office that evening, as was his usual custom, and one postcard was from none other than Archie Kleckman. The postman delivered the joyous news that not only was Archie alive, but he was a prisoner of war and his captors were treating him well. The matriarch of the Kleckman family said for many years afterward that this was the best Christmas gift that she had ever received. The news that her son was alive and well. And it was all thanks to a nosy postman. Archie Kleckman returned home after the war and lived to a ripe old age. The Christmas of 1999 was not going to be a merry occasion in the Craven household. Mr. Jim Craven, husband, father, and grandfather, lay dying in his home. The family had gathered to care for Jim and to welcome visitors who had come to say goodbye. A few days after Christmas, an unexpected and uninvited guest arrived, and it looked as if they were going to stay a while. The guest would sit out on the porch, watch the family coming and going, and supervise the outdoor chores. Yet, he would never come inside. Why not, you may be wondering? Well, this guest happened to be one of the 4-legged variety, a little black dog with a white mouth. The Cravens fretted that night would fall soon, and that the dog would be cold out on the porch. To that end, the family made up a warm little bed for him, leaving him some food and drink as they did so. Having the dog there certainly did no harm, for Jim took much pleasure that day, sitting in his rocking chair and gazing out the window at the strange little visitor. The family had done the right thing and called the sheriff, the newspaper, the local radio station, the neighbors, and the nearest animal shelter to find out if someone had lost their dog, but no one had been forthcoming. So the mysterious black dog stayed on. Jim Craven stated that he wanted to live long enough to see in the new millennium, and that he certainly did. He passed from this life and into the next on January 2nd, 2000, and that was the day that the little black dog left, his visit seemingly over. It was as if the dog had been a Christmas angel in canine form, sent to bring comfort to Jim and his family during this sad time in their lives. In 1961, Dave Grimstead of Washington and his family were spending Yuletide on the road. Not an ideal place to be at the most wonderful time of the year, but there they were. The Grimstead children were understandably concerned that, given they had no fixed address that particular Christmas, Old St. Nick would not be able to locate them in order to bestow gifts. En route from Seattle to the East Coast for Dave's job, it was a long trip. On Christmas Eve, the family found themselves in Watertown, South Dakota. The family checked into a hotel for the night, then got back into their car and headed out to find supplies. Just as the Grimstead family car pulled up at an intersection, who else should be using the crosswalk but Santa Claus himself? The jolly old chap held up his hand and Dave wound down his window. Santa poked his head into the car and said to the astonished children, "Oh, there you are. I was wondering where I would find you tonight." The family told Santa where they could be found that night, thus allaying the children's fears that they would miss out on their gifts from Santa. As luck would have it, Dave and his wife already had the gifts hidden in the trunk of the car for this one special night. Dave Grimstead attributes Santa's efforts to speak to them that night to the fact that their car had interstate license plates and a cargo carrier. But who knows? Perhaps there was a touch of magic in the air that made the Christmas of 1961 a miracle for this family. Another road trip that took place during the festive season, which resulted in a miracle, was that of the Hatbox Baby. On Christmas Eve in 1931, Julia and Ed Stewart were driving through the Arizona desert when their car blew a tire. To pass the time while Ed changed the flat, Julia decided to go for a walk. Hearing a cry, Julia called for her husband to come with her, where they stumbled upon a black hatbox right there in the Arizona desert. Understandably curious, they approached the box. Ed nudged the box with his foot, and the Stewarts heard yet another cry. Lifting the lid and peering inside, Ed and Julia found themselves gazing down at a baby girl with red hair and blue eyes. Imagine her amazement when she discovered this baby girl clad in floral pajamas, alive and in seemingly perfect health. As luck would have it, there was a small town nearby. This town was called Superior, while in fact it was anything but. Today, it is little more than a wasteland, and the couple took the baby girl there where they were able to call for help. This little Christmas miracle was examined by doctors and found to be in good health. The tiny baby girl was only 1 week old. She was eventually put up for adoption. And no, the Stewarts did not apply to adopt the Christmas baby whom they found in the desert. But several other couples did apply, and the precious child was adopted by a lovely couple who named her Sharon. Sharon grew up in a loving home and went on to have a family of her own and a successful career in the aerospace industry. Sharon's story is nothing short of miraculous, when the odds of a fragile newborn surviving the Arizona desert that fateful Christmas day were very slim indeed. On the morning of December 7th, 2007, Alcides Moreno set off to work with his brother Edgar. The brothers were window washers in New York City, and on that particular day, they were cleaning windows on the 47th floor of the Solo Tower building in Manhattan's Upper East Side. Allow us to repeat that one more time. The 47th floor. The two brothers rode the elevator all the way to the top of the building and went out into the frozen weather to start their work. Disaster struck when the cables that held the left side of the 16-foot wide seating platform detached themselves from their anchor point. Edgar was seated on the left side, and tragically, he fell 472 feet to the ground below. His body was found in an alleyway, severed in half by a picket fence. It was estimated that Edgar was traveling at more than 120 miles per hour when he hit the ground. Alcides, on the other hand, waited a few agonizing moments before inevitably, his side of the platform snapped loose too, and he plummeted towards the earth. On the street level, miraculously, the window washer was found by rescue crews crouching among a pile of metal, still clutching the controls to the scaffold. He was breathing, and he even tried to stand up. Statistically, people who fall from a 3-story building have a 50% chance of survival. At 10 stories, almost no one does. Yet Alcides Moreno fell from 47 stories and lived to tell the tale. He was put into an induced coma, underwent numerous operations, and received 24 pints of blood. He sustained injuries to his brain, his spinal column, his abdomen, his chest, his legs, and his right arm. The fact that Alcides survived to tell the tale is nothing short of a miracle. Surely a higher hand was at work here. Not only did he wake up, but he made a full recovery and even completed a 3-mile charity walk. Oh, and did we mention that Mr. Moreno awoke from his induced coma on Christmas Day? As the unforgettable character Hans Gruber says in Die Hard, brilliantly played by the late Alan Rickman,
"It's Christmas, Theo. It's the time of miracles, so be of good cheer and..."
And if these 5 Christmas miracles still haven't melted the bah humbug out of your icy heart, then enjoy our worst Christmas disasters in history video instead. For more videos on the most amazing forgotten parts of our history, be sure to subscribe to the Intrigued Mind channel, like the video, and leave your suggestions in the comments below.